offense. Stevie Coyle here at Mighty Fine Guitars in Lafayette, California, 20 miles due east and only slightly north of San Francisco, California. Welcome, come on in. Let me check and make sure things are happening because I've done more than one of these to nobody. So let me make sure that you are there and you know who you are, but I don't yet. So let's see. Oh, looks like things are happening. Good, good. Fair enough. Come on in. Today's featured guitar is a Martin, and it's a brand new Martin. The story behind the Martin, and it happens. This fellow ordered this. He saw it online. He said, "Oh, I gotta have me one of those," and he bought it. And he said, "This is great." And then came into my shop and played another guitar, which he loved even more. And so this guitar is making its exit because the guitar he found in the shop here is his true love. I think it seems like he found his guitar, his forever guitar. How about that? Come on in, everybody. There's four of you. Jim Esposito, how are you? Nice to see you, young man. Fellow Bronco, go Broncos. All right, well, today, I was talking with Jim earlier today about Martin guitars. Kind of tough to beat. Jimmy, is the sound okay? I'm always concerned about the sound being okay, because without that, the visuals are even less compelling than they would be otherwise. Hi there, Steve. Larry Pattis, very good. Come on in, all y'all. Well, here, let me play a little bit of this, and let me know, like I say, if the sound is okay. This is a Martin OM28 MDX, a modern deluxe. So it's got some retro features, and it's got some modern features, and I'll read you all about them momentarily. I got to get hip to these silver-colored strings. I got to admit, for an old dude like me who grew up in the 60s, silver-colored strings meant black diamond strings, which were less than satisfactory, but they're all you could get where I came from. So we did them. I think these might be that Monell set. Oh no, there's a tag somewhere that tells you what kind of string it is. It's not the standard, and I think I'll probably do, because it's not, I was about to say it, it's not the standard bronze string that we're accustomed to hearing. I think I'll probably do another review of this guitar a week or two or three down the road with standard bronze strings on there, probably for an OM. I tend to go with the Eric Schoenberg formula, which is, if it isn't a dreadnought or a jumbo, string it with 80/20s. That seems to be the general rule of thumb. You know, big guitars get phosphor bronze, smaller guitars get 80/20s. Although I must say, for my guitars, it doesn't work that way. So your mileage may vary, as they say. So Martini, classic Martin sound. Oh, let me check in. Sound is okay, folks? Somebody say yes. Somebody say hallelujah. Somebody say amen. And how do I get back over to your comments? They don't seem to be appearing here. There we go. Teresa Tuduri, just about one of my favorite performers in the world. Folks, if you are not hip to Teresa Tuduri, check her out online. She's all over the YouTubes. And she has is it back to being a weekly radio show? Totally worth your time on KTAL radio out of the Southwest. KTAL, get it? Jay, thank you very much. We were invoking your name earlier as the tree guy. There's a guitar out that is, in fact, Jay and Jim, you should start a little conversation with each other about the tree. So Espo and Jay, I'd suggest that. Nancy Paul is here. Very good. Sound is good. Perfecto. All right. Jim and I were old altar boys, so he knows perfecto from the Latin Mass. All right. Hi, Janine Heath. Wonderful artist and musician. Ah, terrific. Great crowd here. Let me play a little bit more of this for you so you can get the vibe, and then I'll tell you a little bit about it. This is an OM28 Modern Deluxe. So in many respects, and I can see what they mean, they've kind of tried to do a crossbreeding of vintage and modern features. You know, some folks, Eric Schoenberg, and I agree completely that kind of the do-it-all size for guitars for most players is going to be the OM or triple O size. Big enough to give you lots of bass, lots of punch, lots of power, lots of headroom, but a narrow enough waist so that the guitar sits low in your lap and you're not doing this like we all do, or this with the dreadnoughts we all grew up thinking were guitars, and anything else was not really a guitar, or else it was one of those girl guitars like Joan Baez played and that Dylan played for some reason. That wasn't a dreadnought, that wasn't a guitar. Bah humbug. Eric and Dana Bourgeois and Nick Kukic back in the 80s, all responsible for reminding Martin that one of the best guitars they ever made was the OM triple O size. The OM being the long scale and wide fingerboard, and the triple O being short scale and generally speaking narrower fingerboard, but the same body size. You can tell an OM at a distance because the pickguard is kind of this teardrop shaped thing that starts sort of at the middle of the sound hole. The triple O, typically the pickguard comes way up and around up to the top here. How about that? Fun facts to know and tell. Let me give you some specs on this. There's a good sound sampling of the guitar. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Martin, brand new. I should tell you the price of the thing. Online, you'll find these for $4,200. The gentleman that owns this guitar is firm at 3450. How about that? It's just been driven off the lot, has zero play on it. It's essentially a brand new guitar for him having it driven off the lot. You know how those things go on you when you're buying a car. Same thing here. This is the OM28 Modern Deluxe. It's a new take on the Martin Vintage. The guitar is packed with custom features and modern technology. Indeed, and I'll tell you all about that. It's got some surprisingly modern stuff going on inside here and along the neck. The vintage appointments include the spruce vintage tone system top, which is a torrefaction system that is, let's start with that. It's a process developed by the Martin Research and Development Team with a foundation rooted in historic torrefaction process. Torrefaction is a thermochemical, it gets more complicated, rented lips, is a thermochemical treatment of wood at very high temperatures. The process is carried out under atmospheric pressure and in the absence of oxygen. During the process, water contained in the wood is released, and the biopolymers, which are cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin, but you knew that, decompose, leaving behind the remaining solid, dry, and much more stable wood material. This is kind of what happens over time. This is sort of a very swift aging process that the top of this guitar, the VTS, the Vintage Tone System, has gone through. While natural aging is different, there are many similarities between the two, and the end results are similar as well. The R&D team at Martin used the industry-standard torrefaction process in several guitars during the past few years, and those programs yielded very positive results in enhanced tone and stability. Looking closely under a microscope at wood that has been through a torrefaction process and comparing it to wood that has only been conventionally dried, one would see differences in the cell structure. So that's what's happened to the top. Underneath the top, where is that? Underneath the top, here at the bridge plate, typically there would be the thing that supports the top underneath the bridge here would be a hunk of wood called the bridge plate that supports this area that gets the ball ends pulled up against it. It has to be a really solid piece of wood, often maple or heavy-duty spruce, Adirondack spruce, or rosewood. In this case, it's a sandwich of carbon fiber around a slice of Adirondack spruce. Very stable, very tough, transfers energy to the top, which is what that bridge plate is all about, really well. And this guitar does feel like it's an old guitar. It's got some of that old, dry, husky sound, still with all the ringiness and the cathedral-likeness and the bell tones and the overtones of a rosewood guitar. And it is rosewood. Lovely East Indian rosewood. Sitka spruce top, Carol Merrill. The bridge pins are, what are they called? They're metal. They're titanium strings. And I've forgotten what they're called. But you can tell on newer Martin guitars, if they're part of this system, the Modern Deluxe series, they've got the little red dots in there that tell you that these are metal bridge pins. That again, it's all about transferring sound to the top, especially to the lower bout. And metal presumably does that better. I can vouch for this. A couple of the bridge pins on my stage guitar are buffalo horn, and it does really transfer more energy than the standard plastic pins that the Thompson guitar that I had came with originally. They really do transfer sound better, transfer the energy better. The whole idea behind this guitar, and I'll post the video that I watched, very informative, from Martin, all about this Modern Deluxe series. The aim was sophistication meets performance, and I think it's really done that. It's got an inlaid. The peg head is inlaid. We've got inlaid side dots as well. Gold Waverleys. Hello, they're the tuners. Gold Evo frets that are really hard. They're really hard frets. You probably will not have to have these frets redone anytime in the next several decades. If you have several decades lying around to spare, send one or two this way. Gold frets that kind of match up with the gold-colored Waverleys. Adirondack braces, Sitka top, and what else do I need to tell you about it? Maple binding, real wood binding. So this has got a lot of those really kind of cool, elegant features. It's still an extremely reasonable price because it's technically, even though it's got 0 miles on it, it's a new old stock. Old new stock? New old stock. It's a used guitar, so the asking on this firm is $34.50. Great price. 1 3/4 at the nut. A long scale, good for drop tunings. And like I say, you know, because I think these are the Monel strings. These are kind of the steely strings instead of the phosphor bronze or the 80/20 bronze strings. I'll play this guitar again in a couple of weeks after I've restrung it, and we'll do a sound comparison. Really great on the drop tunings. Intonation up high. That's the thing with long scale, is the intonation stays pretty good, even on the fat strings, even up high on the neck when you have long scale rather than short scale, the distance between the nut and the bridge saddle. It's only a half an inch difference between long and short, but you can really feel it. On the other hand, short scale guitars, if you're a blues person, then you might want to consider a triple O instead of an OM, because you can push the strings around easier. Bending is easier. This guitar is so beautifully set up. Anything is easy on this guitar, and it doesn't rattle. You can hit it good. I say you can hit it good and hard, and it still doesn't rattle against the frets. Strings don't rattle against the frets. Oh, how rude I am. My goodness. I'm not looking at your comments or answering any of your questions. Give me just a moment to slide over here and retrieve. Where are y'all? Swipe left, reveal comments. There we go. Hi, Bob Littell, Marilyn Barcelos, and Dale. How are you? Jim Orford, David Foster. Nice indeed, especially for the price. Jill McAnally. Happy holidays. Hey, same to you and Kevin. Jill, thanks very much. No, you have happy holidays. Cindy Bazan from Copperopolis, very good. Michael Propson Guitar says, nice bottom end. Well, thank you very much. Oh, you mean the guitar. David Tyler just got a 21 0028. Whoa, doggies. Nice. What's the rest of that message there? I'll go back and look at that. Hey, John Mooney. Are you still in the southern climes? Weren't you in the Iguazu Falls or something? Someplace that Sherlock Holmes went, as I recall. Chris Gasper is watching. Very good. Dan Frechette? Yes, nice balance and ring. Exactly. I think this guitar would record really well. Not overpowering. Although, once I restring it and play it again in a couple of weeks, I'll refer back to this and see which set of strings gives you more boom and punch. Janine loves the Martin she got here. I'm so glad to hear it. Terrific, Janine. That's great. Hi, John Watkins. Very good. Any questions? Ask away. I'll play for just another couple of minutes, and then I'll button things up and urge you to feel free to pass this, to share this with like-minded souls, either live here or once the video goes up, to go ahead and share this with any guitaristic friends you might have that you think might be interested in hearing guitars played here at Mighty Fine Guitars in Lafayette, California, in the East Bay, which is Pig Latin for beast, but it's only coincidence. Happy holidays, y'all. You know what I think is coming in next week is a pair of Goodall guitars. James Goodall may have built some duds in his life. I have played hundreds, and I have never played a Goodall dud, or even a guitar that was less than really, really good. And I think there will be 2 in next week. Stay tuned. If you have any questions, feel free to include them in the crawl beneath here. Be glad to answer your questions. Thank you for asking. I'm so sorry we had to cancel last Saturday's show at the back room in Berkeley. We're rescheduled for January 15th. Yay! So come by and see us if you can. Quitters info is available at quittersduo.com, even though we're a trio now. I don't know what we're going to do about that. Quittersduo.com has all of the details and all the propaganda. Do feel free to come see us. And the next show we play is Rocks on Main in Martinez, California. Martinez, California. Martinez, California. Say it 3 times and people remember, is what they say. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Your old pal Stevie Coyle here at Mighty Fine Guitars, signing off. Leave comments and questions down below and I'll answer them. PDQ. Down the road, everybody. Ta-ta.